Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Friday, April 18th, 2014. This is Good Friday in the Christian liturgical calendar. Many offices are closed and the American stock markets are closed as well. Meanwhile, in South Korea today, prosecutors have arrested the captain of that sunken South Korean ferry, on which the death toll is probably going to be a little bit over 300 people. They've also issued arrest warrants for two other crew members. Apparently, the prosecutor is saying that the captain was not in command when the accident took place. And now there is evidence that the captain's evacuation order came about 30 minutes after a distress signal indicating that the vessel had been grounded. The strong currents and very dark waters in the area, as well as heavy rain, is making it very difficult for rescuers to try to reach the ship and perhaps bring bodies up. Divers are saying that the water is so dark we cannot even see the ship's white color. Our people are just touching the hull with their hands. And that's presumably with the aid of underwater lamps. On Mount Everest earlier today, there was an there was an avalanche. 15 people at least are dead. Most of them so far seem to be Nepalese Sherpa guides. The interesting thing about this is that the Sherpa guides had left base camp number 2 early in the morning to set up ropes for hundreds of climbers that were waiting to ascend Mount Everest. The climbers are in base camp 2 and are proceeding up to base camp 3 for an ascent to Everest later this month when weather conditions are at their most favorable. This is a mountain that was not scaled by humans until the 1950s when Sir Edmund Hillary and his Sherpa guide actually managed to ascend it, and now there are hundreds waiting on the mountain to climb it. Aspen Insurance has adopted a poison pill to ward off John Sharman's Endurance Re's attempt to take it over. Poison pill will give shareholders of Aspen the right to buy stock at discounted prices anytime during the next year if a outside group or a person acquires 10% or more of the company. This will make it much more unattractive for any buyer to purchase Aspen. Endurance immediately condemned the move, saying in the person of their chief financial officer, Michael McGuire, at a time when the Aspen board should be considering an opportunity to deliver significant value to its shareholders, it's instead focused on blocking them from receiving that value and taking actions to entrench themselves. This shows clear disdain on the part of Aspen's board for its shareholders. Charman says that he has been trying to talk to Aspen since January, but has received no response, and Endurance has vowed that they will continue their attempt to take the company over. There was a second earthquake in 2 days in the East Midlands in Britain today. This quake was a 3.2. Yesterday's quake was a 3.5. They all occurred in just about the same area near the town of Oakham. The British Geological Survey said that it was unexpected for there to be a second earthquake in exactly the same location. There's been no damage or injuries. It's now about 42 days since Malaysia Flight 370 has gone missing, and 2 events of note occurred. The analysis has been done of the hydraulic fluid that was found on the surface of the ocean in the area where the acoustical pingings were found, and it's been determined by looking at the petroleum DNA nature of the oil that it is not a match for the missing airliner. So that lead is out. Meanwhile, the underwater sub, the Bluefin 21, has actually completed a full 16-hour shift on the ocean floor. It has now covered some 35 square miles of seabed. However, the search area is 15,600 square miles. It has a long way to go. About 20% of China's soil is contaminated. This is according to the government itself. The Environmental Protection Ministry said that about 19.4% of the arable land in the country shows contamination, mainly from nickel, arsenic, and cadmium, all pollutants. The government said the survey showed that it's hard to be optimistic about the state of the soil nationwide. This is a grim situation, and the state will implement measures, including a soil pollution plan and better legislation. Earlier today in Tehran, at the military celebrations associated with the Iranian Army Day, the president of Iran, Hassan Rouhani, said that the country has no intention of committing acts of aggression but retains the right to defend itself. He spoke in a peaceful message that referenced negotiations going on between Iran, the United States, and the Europeans, aimed at securing a permanent deal to resolve a decade-long impasse over Iran's nuclear program. The comment said our neighbors should know that the Iranian military wants stability in the region. We are people of reason and dialogue. Over the past 2 centuries, Iran has never attacked anyone. It's interesting to note that there are only 2 democracies in that area of the world. One is in Iran and the other one is in Israel. It's also interesting to note that the Saudi Arabians are very, very nervous about the Americans cozying up to the Shiites in Tehran. That's an alignment of power that has Riyadh very, very nervous and uncomfortable. The card to be played is going to be played by the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu sometime this summer. Meanwhile, hopefully things will proceed in Geneva and a peace agreement will come out. That's the news for today. Have a pleasant Easter. If we have anything breaking later today, we'll come back. If not, we'll see you on Easter Monday.